Hey YouTube, welcome to the Off-Grid Mountain Homestead. It's mail day, my prep for the week or for the month. What this costs, it's the prep for the month. But it's a GAMO, the box opens upside down, so GAMO's upside down the box, but that's not gonna hurt us. It's a GAMO Urban PCP, which is pre-charged pneumatic pellet rifle in 22 caliber. And why did I choose the GAMO Urban? I've been researching pellet rifles, air guns for a couple of months. This one's made in England. The Urban model is I believe the only one of these GAMOs that are made in England at the BSA factory. So these are supposed to have real good barrels on them. And it's kind of it's not a baller build, it's more of a budget build. But I got a cheap scope off of Amazon. All this come off of Amazon, by the way. So I have links in the description. And the price. Side note, the price on the GAMO Urban was cheaper on Amazon by far compared to any other site. So I got a 3 to 9 by 40 scope, 1-inch scope. And I got dovetail scope rings. This comes with scope rings, but it's for a Picatinny rail. So I had to get dovetails to go on the air rifle. And then for testing and sighting in, I went with these Crosman hollow point 22 caliber pellets, just cause the price was right on. They were on sale, and the grain was pretty good on it from what I've read. So I'm gonna get it all put together. Sorry, don't get to see the unboxing. There's too many parts and pieces in here to have to take apart to show the whole unboxing. And then also in this box here is the pump to recharge this air rifle, but I'll explain all that in detail. So I'm gonna get it put together. Here's the air rifle assembled. Again, it's the GAMO Urban 22. And it's bolt action, 10-shot magazine, made in the UK. Cold hammer forged barrel. Has they call it the whisper silencer on it, suppressor, keep it good and quiet. CV life scope, again cheap scope. I wasn't spending Vortex or Leupold or Swarovski optics on a pellet rifle, especially a budget pellet rifle. But with all my research for the last couple of months, dollar for dollar, this one seems to be, the consensus hive mind is this is the best one for the money. So this is the one I went with, because these are supposed to be a very good value for the cost. So it's a PCP air rifle. And what does that mean? Well, it's pre-charged pneumatic. It's got a reservoir underneath the barrel. It's all the way back there. It's high pressure reservoir. And it's got a gauge right here on the end. So you charge it up with a foot pump or a electric pump up to, I think max fill on this one's 3,300 PSI. And it's got a nice little gauge right there, so you can see, what your pressure is. And 30 to 40 shots per fill, depending on how high you fill it. I've been filling it to 3,000 PSI. I can't get it any higher than that physically, because the foot pump, which is a 4 Uncles foot pump, and I'll be doing a separate video on this pump because it's got some pretty cool features. Just once you get around 3,000 pounds, it's so hard to push this pump. I weigh 180 pounds, and once I get to 3,000, I can literally hang on the pump, pushing down and lift myself off the ground, and it just will not close the pump. Just too much pressure. I don't have enough weight to push it down. So if I wanted to get it to the full 3,300 fill, I would have to get an electric pump, or I'd have to gain some weight or put a weight belt on to be able to push the hand pump down. I just can't do it. So, hanging on it, feet in the air, and it will not go past 3,000. So that's, I think that's just, physics right there, not nothing to do with the pump or the gun itself. But I bought the Crosman pellets. A 500 pack was $6.29, and they're hollow points. So they're not target rounds. They're more of a hunting round, but for the price, that'll do. I'm not spending $25 on 200 pellets for target, and it shoots really accurate with a hollow point round. It's surprising. And I calculated out the grains, and with this rifle, this one averages 800 to 850 feet per second through a chronograph. I don't have a chronograph, I'm just going off other people's experience. and it comes out to be around 25-26 foot-pounds of energy. So you're looking at, you know, 25 to 30% of a 22 rifle, which is, you know, adequate for small game pest management, and more than accurate for plenty for an afternoon full of fun. You know, plenty enough power to tear up some cans and some, you know, wood blocks and stuff like that. So good for playing with in the yard, good for training, target practice. And why did I buy an air rifle? Well, for one, a dog is gun shy. So if we go hunting, I've tried everything I can do with a regular 22 rifle, you know, covering her ears, you know, and shooting, you know, subsonic rounds and stuff like that. She just can't take it. She was a rescue dog, and she'd been abused, and I guess somebody was trying to hunt with her and was shooting around her or something. She just can't stand a, you know, sound of even a 22 rifle. So, you know, she likes to tree squirrels and stuff, and wants to do, you know, the sporting dog stuff, but she just can't take the noise. So that's the main reason for getting this. Second reason, you know, 2,000 rounds of pellets, you know, was, you know, less than $30. So it's a lot cheaper to, you know, to practice with this, get your trigger time in without wasting your 22 ammunition. So I can sit and shoot all day. You know, I can shoot all them pellets for $6 and change. You know, and get plenty of practice. So, you know, just a good all-around training device too. So, you know, real helpful for training. And you know, you don't draw attention to yourself, so you can still get your trigger time in. You know, the basic fundamentals of shooting and trigger control and breathing and all that for on the cheap. And, you know, fill it up with air, let her rip. Anyhow, let's get on some features, well, with the air rifle. So it's got a trigger safety. So, you know, pull it back, it's safe, push forward, it's fire. So that's a nice little feature to have right there. It's got an adjustable 2-stage trigger. So you can go in through the bottom right there and adjust the trigger. I think it's factory set at 3 or 3.5 pounds. It doesn't really specify in the manual, but it's got a nice trigger glide. Now I know it's not no, you know, Geisley precision trigger, nothing like that, but, you know, it does its job, and you can hang some really tight groups with this thing, especially considering the cheap ammo or cheap pellets I'm using for it. You know, it's got the suppressor silencer, got the gauge on the end, and the fill port is hiding under this barrel or this shroud for the gauge right here. So there's a check valve up in there. You can see it on the left hand side of the, right there in the axis. So you take your adapter right here, put it in there, and it's got a check in it. So as you pump your foot pump, your electric pump, it fills up this reservoir. So you got to watch your gauge. And once you're done, you just disconnect your pump, and there you go. You're good for, you know, 30 to 40 shots. Pretty consistent, and that still stays above 1,000 psi. This is a non-regulated gun, so, you know, you don't have an adjustable, you know, shot volume, so that makes it more simple, more reliable. So it just, when you pull the bolt back, it fills the air chamber up and it's ready to go. So one less thing to tear up or act up on it. It's got a recoil reducing butt pad, which I don't know why they put that on there, because it has no recoil. I don't know if they added that because it's got some weight and kind of gives it some more balance. Got a nice thumb hole stock, you know, real comfortable shooting position on it. So real nice to shoot. I mean, it's unbelievable. And I could probably almost put one through every hole with a little bit better ammo and a little bit better, you know, glass on there, because once you get out a little bit, this scope is not the clearest. You know, the glass is kind of subpar, but just for a starting rig, yeah, that's fine. And this was supposed to be a $300 budget, but the air rifle itself was $285. The scope was $25. The scope rings, a 2-pack of scope rings, was $11. So, you know, not too far over budget, just considering the setup on the air rifle. in the optics and, you know, the pellets, I was pretty close. But, you know, the hand pump, you know, put it over budget a little bit. So that's the whole month's worth of, you know, the prep budget's gone into this. But, you know, pest control and everything, and, you know, practicing, you know, taking the dog hunting without scaring her. Varmint control, so if stuff starts messing around the chicken pen or whatever in the middle of the night, you know, I can come out and remedy that situation quietly and not wake the wife up. So I like this little gun a lot. I've put about 60 or 70 rounds through it already. I said when you're pumping with the hand pump, it's kind of, you know, it gives you a workout. So, you know, once you get through filling the reservoir up, you know, you gotta take you a break for just a few seconds, let your arm muscles calm down, because it takes about 100 strokes on that pump to fill this reservoir up for 30 to 40 shots. So, you know, you get your exercise too while you're doing it. So it's got a removable 10-shot magazine, so you just roll it back and fill it. And it's got a little detent pin right there, and you've got the magazine that's facing this way in the air rifle. So when you get down to your last shot, it actually even gives you a yellow flag indicator right here that you know that you're empty, which is pretty cool. It doesn't say anything about that in the manual, and I don't know if anybody's even mentioned that online in the air gun forums or on YouTube videos and stuff like that, but it has a little yellow tab right here. If you've got one of these, when you're empty, it shows a little yellow paint mark right here in this magazine, which I thought was pretty cool. So you just take it and slide it in. You got to have the bolt. Bolt's got to be open. Take it and slide it in, and then you got a detent on this side. So you just slide it in and line it up with that detent, and there it is. And then close your bolt once it's lined up, and then she's ready to go. Talk about the glass on this thing real quick. CV Life 39 by 40, 1-inch tube, and I bought the dovetail scope rings, and the consensus online was to use the medium height rings. So I got a 2-pack of high and medium risers, and the medium worked out almost perfectly. The only thing is you see the suppressor or silencer in the bottom of the scope, just the tiniest amount. So, you know, if these were up maybe just a kind of in between a medium and a high, it would clear. You catch just a little bit of it right here in the just maybe a 64th of an inch in the bottom of the scope. You just barely can see it, which is not a big deal on this since it's an air rifle. But if it was a real, you know, rifle, it would kind of be more of an issue to me. But, you know, for the money on the scope, it's a pretty good little scope. I like this, you know, 3 to 9 power. You know, the adjustments were pretty decent on it. You know, they had a little slop in them compared to, you know, a high quality scope like a Vortex or Leupold, but, you know, for the price, I can't complain. But it does have it's got the little finger adjuster there, so you don't have to get your screwdriver or your penny out to adjust the scope, which is nice. And it was, you know, I didn't use my laser bore sighter to sight it in. You know, it took 15 or 20 clicks both directions to get her dialed in. So I'll have that, you know, showing the original sight in target as I was walking the scope to the point of impact. You know, 10 or 15 rounds, I had it dialed in pretty good. Here's the initial sighting in from 30 yards. Yeah, a little bit of redneck moon pie box, but hey, it works. First shot, and then had to go like 15 clicks on the scope, then right up here to 3 shots. So that was shooting to the left, so I went up about 5 more clicks, and then put about 12 clicks on for the right on the scope, and that's 4 shots right there. And this was when I was walking it in. So then I went over here to the little star, so it was still a little bit, it was off to the right a little bit here, and that's 3. So then I dialed her back in, and that's 3. One of them went through the same hole right there. So that's 30 yards shooting off the hood of a truck with the coat under the barrel. So not bad for the first few shots on this rifle. And still fine tuning a little bit, because, you know, these, you know, they're not completely 100% consistent every shot as far as, like, you know, a precision target grade ammo on a regular centerfire rifle. You have a little variation with how much air goes in this chamber, depending on, you know, the field pressure. And as the field pressure goes down, you lose a little velocity. So the pellets, you know, once you get down to the lower threshold of the chamber, field pressure in chamber, you will drop a little bit, maybe a quarter or half inch, until you get down to around 1,000 psi. Then it kind of falls off pretty quick. But, you know, it's very consistent for what it is, and it still is. It's amazing. It amazes me that, you know, this is on par with a real .22 rifle as far as accuracy. It's just, there ain't any words for it. I mean, I'm sure the rifles, air rifles that cost $600, $700, $800 are probably even more impressive than this. But for the money on this one, I mean, don't even have words for it. I'm so excited about this thing. And how much does it weigh? Right around 10 pounds, give or take a smidge. I don't have a scale to weigh it out. I'm just going off the shipping weight of the container and everything like that. And by feel, you know, how it feels, it's about the same weight as a fully loaded, how can I phrase this, America's favorite rifle. Let's just put it that way. That's about how much this weighs. You know, it weighs as much as an American rifle with optics, full mags, you know, dressed out. So that's about how much it weighs. So pretty close to the weight of that. Not too bad. It's actually balanced pretty good. It's maybe just a tiny bit front heavy. Mrs. Off-Grid says that she feels it's a little bit front heavy, which her arms are a lot shorter than mine, and, you know, she's a good bit smaller than me, so, you know, that may be why she's feeling it being front heavy, where she can't reach out as far, you know, out on the barrel. And you know, that could be the, you know, the reasoning behind that. But, you know, I guess it might just be, you know, because you got your chamber up here, your silencer and everything up here, so, you know, you got a lot of weight hanging off the front. But they still, I think GAMO did a real good job of, you know, the bolt block and everything back here, air chamber. It kind of offsets all this extra weight up front, and then this stock is real thick and heavy. I mean, it's really overkill for an air rifle as far as how durable and strong the stock is. So, you know, but you really don't notice it with the thumb hole stock. It's you know, it's not bad at all. I mean, you can shoot it all day, and I don't think you're gonna get tired of using it, or get, you know, any fatigue or anything like that, besides, you know, just the refill portion using the manual pump. Make up a target right quick so we can do some practicing here. We have a penny size target and a quarter size target. All right, 30-yard target. That's what I sighted in for. And why'd I pick 30 yards? You know, that's, if I'm standing on the ground and there's a squirrel up in the tree, you know, most trees here are 100 to 120 feet, so I picked 30. I split the difference, you know, trying to pick the best distance to sight it in for. So if I need to take a 50-yard shot, I won't be too low, but if I need a close-up shot, I'm not going to be too high. So I figured 30 yards would be the sweet spot for a air rifle. She is precise. Puts almost all the pellets in one ragged hole from 30 yards. Just laying it across the truck hood. I gotta adjust the scope one click back to the right, and she's a little to the left, but that's the optics. That's my adjustments on the scope. That's not the gun, or the air rifle, excuse me. So adjust the scope a little bit more. Like I said, I just got her put together today, and just getting used to it. I've not even had it 24 hours yet. So I don't think that's a bad little target shooting. You know, since I've only been pulling the trigger on it a few times. So thoroughly impressed with its precision. And once I get the scope dialed in, she'll be accurate as well. So one more click over to the right and clear the center of the target hole out. And I gotta find my real rifle targets. They're buried in a box somewhere. So sorry for the cardboard hillbilly target, but you know, it does the trick. It don't cost nothing. So that's the first video on this GAMO Urban 22 air rifle. There'll be more videos to come. Long distance shooting. I got a spot in the woods that's 50 yards, my old rifle range. And I got a couple of clearings. I can probably get 75 or 80 yards. So I'm gonna see how she does on long distance rips. See if I can get her at 75 yards, and possibly could go to my friend's place and get 100 yards. So we'll do some long distance shooting with it too. I said these are not target pellets either. These are hollow points, and it has got that much precision out of hollow point cheap pellets. So I bet this thing would really perform with target, you know, high-end pellets, consistent pellets, because these are not the most consistent pellets. Some of the tails on them are bent and stuff, so that affects flight performance, you know, what have you. But I'm gonna be doing a review on the pump too, so watch for that video. More videos on the GAMO Urban 22 air rifle. See how the scope holds up long term, see if it fogs up or holds adjustment. So plenty of videos to come on this. This is just the first one. So I'm gonna fill this thing back up with some air, get some trigger time in this afternoon. Thank you for watching the Off Grid Mountain Homestead. Stay tuned, like, comment, subscribe.